Hi guys, here we are again, another OnePlus flagship and the very first Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor phone that we test, or better said, we unboxed. We have here the version with 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, Sandstorm, apparently inspired by the desert dunes and even by the series of books and movies Dune. This is what the phone looks like and it's time for an unboxing. First things first, the handset is obviously related to Oppo Find X9 Pro, as you can see from the camera module. However, it has a different CPU, a different periscope camera, and some other differences in the battery department and the software department. So, in Eastern Europe, where I'm at, the price is actually quite appealing. We're dealing here with a phone which is priced below 1000 euros, something like closer to 900 euros or 800 euros, which is quite appealing for a flagship. Now, we're getting three 50 megapixel cameras at the backside, a generous 7300 mAh battery, and as well as that, a special chip for gaming. We have here a 165 Hz screen, and OnePlus somehow made it so we can play shooters and other games at 165 frames per second, thanks to a special chip. Now let's see what's in the box. And by the way, in my part of Europe, we're also getting headphones, the NordBuds 2 bundled with the product. How cool is that? And here we're getting the key to access the slot, nano SIM, the cable from USB-A to USB-C, as well as two manuals, safety guide and quick guide. That's all, folks. No charger in the box, but we do have some fast charging supported here. Okay, so this is not a Pro model, this is not a Ultra model, just the regular OnePlus 15. Aside from the color we have here, which is called Sandstorm, it comes in black or violet. The back is covered either with glass in one of the versions or with a special type of fiber reinforced plastic. And aside from that, you probably want some measurements. Well, as far as measurements are concerned, the phone measures 8.1 mm in thickness and weighs 211 or 215 grams depending on the version you're purchasing. It's quite well protected, it's got an aluminum frame, and it's also got IP69K certification, so it can take strong water jet splashing it, of course dust. You can submerge it up to 2 meters for 30 minutes in water. Now at the front side we have obviously a screen of the AMOLED variety. It's a 6.78 inch panel, not very different from the one of the Oppo Find X9 Pro. However, the refresh rate has increased 165 Hz, 1.15 mm bezels, and a Full HD Plus resolution. There's Dolby Vision HDR10 Plus, and it shows 1 billion colors, which is actually not bad. So that's what the screen is like. And Gorilla Glass Victus 2 for the sake of, well, protection. Now inside the phone we have a premiere. This is the very first phone I'm seeing with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. That's the official name. 3 nanometer Adreno A40 Cryo cores, not ARM, and a generous setup here. 16 gigs of RAM, LPDDR5X, and storage is UFS 4.1. Here we have the 512 GB version. There's also a version with 1 TB. The battery is obviously a selling point. It's a 7300 mAh unit, luckily in Europe, just the same as in China. Silicon carbon, 120 watts wired charging, 50 watts wireless charging. There's even pretty fast 10 watt reverse wireless charging, which is kind of cool to have. It's a silicon carbon battery, as I said before, and it also has bypass charging. So I would say the electrical power goes straight to the phone, bypassing the battery if you're on for an intense gaming session. The system is handled by the Trinity Core. We have an advanced cooling system, and you can even add extra RAM from here, from the RAM expansion feature. Now, we also have stereo speakers, there's also 5G connectivity, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, USB-C 3.2 Gen 1, Bluetooth 6.0, apparently also some infrared action here, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all. The fingerprint scanner is embedded in the screen around here, and it's of the ultrasonic variety. Now, as far as the cameras are concerned, this punch hole includes a 32 megapixel shooter with autofocus for your selfie needs and 4K 60 capture. At the back side, we don't have Hasselblad anymore, but we have three 50 megapixel cameras. The main one has optical image stabilization f1.8 aperture. It also comes with a multi-directional PDAF. Then there's the periscope camera. We have a periscope telephoto camera here, which is 50 megapixel and 3.5x optical zoom, and the equivalent of 7x optical zoom. Pay attention, equivalent. Then there's the ultra wide 50 megapixel camera, 116 degrees, plus there's a laser focus here, there's a color spectrum sensor here, This is the LED flash. We have 8K capture, 30 frames per second. Dolby Vision is available as well, and 4K 120. The camera options even include the underwater mode, panorama, time-lapse, high-res, slow-mo, dual-view video, tilt-shift, night, pro video, and long exposure plus document scanner. If you go to pro video, you can work with log files, so the result will be a bit gray, but you can do some colorization afterwards. And there's also LUT. You have here SDR, HDR, or what have you, so you can do proper colorization after the fact. Aside from that, we have a special text scanner. We have a portrait option here, banking on the, telephoto cameras. This is the photo section. This is the actual optical zoom, and this 7x is the equivalent of optical zoom. We also have a special feature for the action mode capture, and video, as I said before, can go to 4K 120 or 8K 30. There's a special stabilization ultra steady option as well, and finally the master feature, which lets you work with raw JPEG files, extra options to tweak your experience. I think that's pretty much it as far as the photo is concerned. We can definitely talk more about the software. I feel that the interface is slightly different from the one of the Oppo Find X8 Pro. That one is ColorOS. This is Cyanogen Cyanogen, oh my god. OxygenOS 16 on top of Android 16 with 5 years of updates. It no longer resembles the iOS as much as that other one does, and it has several extras. The phone itself has an extra button here, which you can tweak from the settings. You should be able to find it under the plus key moniker. You can associate with it the mind space, vibration, do not disturb, torch, translate, and so much more. What it basically does is, for example, if I have a concert here and I can actually press it, it will send it to the mind space and it will suggest you to add to the calendar. If you keep it pressed, you can record a voice memo if you want to, and if you do a double press, let's maybe get rid of it. If you do a double press like this, you go to the actual space where I have my voice memo. It extracted the info from the voice memo. It extracts information from a photo as well. It allows you to ask questions. It even tells you the address. Honestly, this is pretty shocking. I can actually see the route of one of these places, one of these buses. And here you can also extract specifications from a screenshot from the IDA app. That's the mind space, but AI is more on this phone. Of course, there's Gemini Live. You can speak with it. You can actually write text as well. You can go here and share the screen or the camera with it. You have circle to search if you keep pressed here and do something like this. You can ask follow-up questions, obviously. But AI is also available in a dedicated section in the interface here. So if you go to the AI section, you're getting AI search, AI writer, AI translate, and AI voice scribe plus AI recorder. AI search lets you do a more effective search throughout the device. AI writer lets you do some proper writing with a different tone, suggestions. You're writing differently if it's a mail for work or if it's something for the social media. Then you have the translation with packages and a more calmer voice than mine that I'm using right now. You can also record audio and summarize it and transcribe it into text. And finally, this is actually the one you probably are looking for. And service engine, which is available here for the improved functioning of the device. If you swipe down on the screen, you're treated to the shelf, possibly the most underrated and unused feature on OnePlus phones. I remember that at some point it even pointed towards the place you left your car. We also have a sidebar here, which I'm expecting it to be contextual. I'm actually curious about that. It doesn't change here. Let's see if it changes in a video application. Okay, let's see. No, it doesn't change that much. In some devices, like I don't know, Realme ones, its functionality changes depending on the app you're in. However, speaking of changes, we have the phone manager here, which optimizes the functioning of the device, virus scanner and all that. And of course, gamers will be treated to a, treat if they enter a game like I'm doing right now. You have a sidebar of all the cool options you can benefit from: frame rate, temperature, network, tools, performance notifications, screenshots, screen recording, championship mode, bypass charging, voice changer, color enhancement, and so much more. And of course, there's even a game assist feature. Apparently, the 165 frames per second can be achieved, for example, in Call of Duty and a few other games. I will actually look into that and be back with more soon. For now, this is the OnePlus 15. For me, it's a gaming phone with a dedicated gaming chip for higher frame rate, with bypass charging for gaming, and with some surprises in the camera department, because a colleague of mine has already tested the camera, and I have to say I'm quite impressed by some of the results it produces, particularly with the telephoto camera. Even though it's 3.5x optical zoom, it's very expressive when it's capturing people. So that's where it shines, capturing people's faces and day-to-day activities. Of course, we have even more here. Close-ups are great, and I look forward to also using it at night to see what it can do. So all in all, OnePlus 15 has 3 chips inside. Aside from the core one, there's a special chip for gaming, a special chip for the well-functioning, and more will be revealed once the review is out. That's it from us. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing, lengthy and detailed as usual for gsno.com. Goodbye.